Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and we have something today that is absolutely amazing. It is clearly not a dinosaur, but according to the film, it is still prehistoric, and we've got ourselves a Graboid. And obviously, a Graboid is not a real creature. However, if you are familiar with the film Tremors, you will definitely know what a Graboid is, and I am a massive fan of Tremors. The entire series, I've been pretty much obsessed with those films since I was young and I had seen the original. In fact, the first two had completely overtaken my life when I was younger because I would watch them constantly. And again, I continued that love into adulthood, not only for those original films, but also the newer ones that they make. Even though they get cheesier and cheesier, I still love them. And what we have here today is a Graboid from Artic Figures. And honestly, can I just take a minute and say that Artic Figures is a genius? Because not only is he continuously producing some of the best figures that are available currently, he also is so good at coming up with the artwork for his figures. Like, this is just so perfect. First of all, we've got Graboid down here. You can see we have an exclusive trading card, which we have right there, and the Artic Figures logo up there. This also states that it is first edition, as well as 13 points of articulation, trying to find a way that the glare isn't going to annihilate that. But I love the fact that the Graboid is right here, and you can see it's kind of moving along through the earth, and this area actually is up here above it, so it kind of comes out of the ground, like it's somewhat submerged, but kind of leaving the ground. That packaging is just insanely cool. Honestly, you could not come up with a better packaging design for a Tremors Graboid figure. That is as awesome and as perfect as it gets. But if you take a look up here at the top, you can see again Graboid. We've got some really cool artwork here of those kind of tentacle-like tongues that the Graboid has. Over here on the side, you can yet again see a Graboid. And then pretty much the same image, sort of, as what we had seen above, but again, we have a Graboid this time rather than just the tentacles, and again, it does state Graboid with that really cool kind of earthy look there. And then on the back, we have some information on the Graboid, as well as some more incredible artwork here. And I love that the actual artwork that they have produced for the Graboid shows the construction worker being consumed by the Graboid, which is a scene from the original Tremors, and we actually have that construction worker here for our figures. So I have been pretty much counting the days until I had an opportunity to add this to my collection and take a look at it with you guys. So let's pop this out of the box and check it out right now. So first of all, we've got our card, and I love that Artic Figures has improved the packaging here of his figures compared to the way that he used to do it, where there would be like some tape on it. This time we don't have any of the tape on it, which isn't a big deal, so either way, even if he does that in the future, it really doesn't much matter because it still works fine. But this time he didn't have to use any tape. He actually had it wedged in there in a way that it sat perfectly in the box art, and it comes out completely free of any tape, which is pretty cool. And you can again see that we have some cool information on the Graboid here on the back, as well as some trivia. And then on the front, again, you can see that we have the image of the Graboid here that he has commissioned by the artist that works with him consistently to create some of the best artwork that I've ever seen. And you can see that again, it shows off the image here of the construction worker being consumed by the Graboid, and it is just phenomenal for sure. Really love the card. I love the addition of the cards, but the card, again, specifically is amazing. And then we've got our construction worker, which, as you can see, we only have half of the construction worker because he's going to go inside the mouth of our Graboid here, and it's part of the display. We will, of course, take a closer look at him here in a moment. And we've also got ourselves the tongues, the tentacles that you have for the Graboid, which look equally as beautiful. I love that he's given it a nice gloss coat and some really, really nice looking paintwork for those tentacles. And then our Graboid itself. And man, is this thing ever awesome. Like, that is beautiful. The actual sculpt is honestly phenomenal. It is as highly detailed as I think you'll ever see for a Graboid, but the paintwork as well is really, really honestly perfectly done. Like, he has captured the tones of color for the Graboid perfectly, the way that it is colored in the films perfectly, and on top of that, he's also given it that kind of dirty look that you see on the Graboids. Considering they come from the Earth, you would expect them to have that kind of dirty look, and he 100% succeeded in giving it that appearance as well. So let's jump to a closer look at this amazing Artic Figures release right now. So of course we will begin the review with the Graboid itself, and you can see again immediately that the texturing as well as the paintwork of this is fantastic. Like, if just looking up here at the head sculpt of the Graboid, again, first of all, you have some amazing details sculpted out in this area, but look how good of a job he's done when it comes to painting this area, as I could see like some really nice light grays included with this black, and it helps to give it some color variation, and also helps to give it an extremely lifelike look, which is something that is always, of course, appreciated when acquiring a model like this. So the paintwork of that area really does look, again, exactly like the Graboids look in the film, and you can already see some of the articulation right there, and we actually have articulated jaws for our Graboid. So we can open all three of those sections of the mouth of the Graboid here, and you can see that they articulate really well. They stay exactly where you put them, which is a huge plus. You can get a pretty wide open mouth, which is definitely a good thing. And they're very smooth as far as the articulation. I also love that he's given it a nice gloss coat to make it shine very, very nicely. Really stands out. We also have some super nice looking tones of color here for the inside of the mouth. Look at how nice the detailing even is on the inside. Wow, I wasn't expecting that to look so good in there. And he's also applied some really, really nice like dark washes in there with a reddish tone to add some color variation. Make it just look like somewhere I personally would not want to visit, and that's exactly the inside of the mouth of a Graboid. But it is as incredibly realistic as it can possibly get, and the paintwork and everything looks amazing. We also have a nice gloss coat on the inside of the mouth as well, and there you can see the magnet in there, which is going to hold the other pieces that we have here to our Graboid puzzle very soon. And you can see again that we can close the jaws, and it goes back to looking, again, still awesome no matter which way you go. But as you move back here into the Graboid itself, the texturing of the skin looks incredible. The quality of his print is also really, really vibrant. Like, every ounce of that skin texture just pops. And again, he's done a fantastic job of applying different tones of color, as I could see this really nice black coloration that he's applied, but you can also see the kind of like, you know, like khaki type color or tan that kind of creeps in and out of all of the areas of the skin texture of the Graboid, and that is exactly how it appears in the film in Tremors. So he has done a phenomenal job as far as that goes as well, and you can see how it really nicely transitions to that kind of lighter tone as we lead down here to the underside. Totally different style of texturing to the skin here for the underside, so clearly he has done his homework when it comes to making sure that this looks as screen accurate as possible, and I can definitely say that it does. There is no shortage of excitement as I go through this, because again, it just looks amazing. Like, look at how good his paintwork is for this. The paintwork is just super, super lifelike. I would say as impressive as the sculpt is. And as we move back a little further, you start to get those kind of like, I guess you could almost call them legs, but it has all of those little kind of bumps that help to push it along. I forget what the actual term is for those, but you can see that they are as well sculpted out, and sculpted out beautifully on our Graboid. And as you move along, you can just see tons of different areas of articulation, as again we have the head, we've also got the three areas of the jaw, then you've got an area here, oh, there we go, right there, you've got an area here, another spot here, 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 and then there, the final area. So there is some really impressive articulation here with the Graboid, and again you can see the opposing side looks unbelievable, just as beautiful as the initial side did. He really did a great job of applying the dark wash, but also applying the kind of like tannish color in a way that it sort of resembles like a wash, so that it, you know, again creeps in and out of all of the different areas of the black. Just perfect paintwork. And again, the articulation of the Graboid allows you to pretty much turn it and position it any way that you would like when it comes to an animal like this, a creature like this. The articulation is perfect. Honestly, what could be more amazing than an articulated Graboid? It is just as awesome as it honestly gets. And then we've of course got our little tentacle-like tongues here for the Graboid, and you can see how cool they look when my camera likes to focus on them anyway. Look at that. That looks awesome. He has perfectly captured the appearance to the like head area of those tentacles. He's also got those kind of like spikes that come up and off of the top and lower part of the head. I love that he has difference between each one, as this one has its mouth closed. This one's mouth is slightly open, but this one's mouth is really far open. He's done a great job of painting out those kind of little spikes and stuff that lead off of the tentacles of the Graboid. And as you move through, not only is there some really nice texturing, he's also got some really nice tones of color applied to this with like some pinkish tones, and there's like a nice dark, kind of like a grayish wash, it looks like, potentially. And there's also some black spots and stuff as you move through. And everything is tied together with that really nice gloss coat, making it look even more incredible. And then again, as you lead down, you've got the magnet here to apply it to the Graboid, which we will do here in a moment. And then we also have our construction worker, who is really having a bad day. You can see he's not looking very healthy because he was just, slammed into the ground and then drug into the mouth of a Graboid. But he's done a good job as well on the sculpt of him. Again, really nice paintwork for the human character here as well. He's got the helmet on, and I also love that he's applied like some slices to his body and blood effect and everything for him, which is really, really cool. You can see he's got blood on his arms and everything, blood leading down the forearm over here. So that is super cool, even has blood coming up out of his mouth. So this again is pretty much the perfect addition to a Graboid figure. Both of these, magnetic parts are definitely the perfect addition to a Graboid figure. So let's pull our Graboid up here. We'll open the mouth back up again, and then we'll take a look at the Graboid with the construction worker in the mouth, and he goes right in with no issues at all. And look at how awesome that is. That is so cool. And once he's actually inside the mouth, like, you can't see the magnet at all that I can take notice to. It's really well hidden. And again, when it comes to a Tremors collectible, a Graboid figure, that is the coolest way to display it. But actually, let's go ahead, pull that out, and then we'll take a look at it with the, tentacles in the mouth. Again, it goes right in, and I don't know, it's kind of a tough call. Is that the cooler way to display it, or is the construction worker coming out of the mouth the cooler way to display it? Because this looks equally as amazing. Honestly, it doesn't really much matter. Whichever way you go, it is a phenomenal way to display your Graboid figure. And again, this is honestly a dream collectible for me because I'm a massive fan of Tremors, and I've actually been talking to people, other fans of Tremors that I know for quite some time, and I've just been stating how cool it would be if maybe NECA or someone would eventually make Tremors figures. Little did I know Artic Figures was going to step up and do that and make what, in my opinion, is far better than what NECA could have made, and give us the ultimate Graboid figure. To say I'm excited about this would be a massive understatement. Now, as far as the size goes on our Graboid, for a length, if you actually have the tentacles in the mouth, you were looking at about 9¼ inches, or around 23.5 centimeters. But if we actually take those out and we only measure from the mouth, with the mouth being closed, you are looking at about 8 inches, or a little over 20 centimeters, approaching 20.5. Still very, very nicely sized. And to show you that for a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Artic Figures Graboid here. And this definitely should help to show you that it does have a pretty good size to it. It is not massive, but it's like a perfect sized Graboid. I believe he actually has a larger version that he's going to be releasing very soon, which has articulated tentacles coming out of the mouth as well, which I'm very much so looking forward to checking out with you guys at some point in the near future. But this one again is like a perfect collectible size range that pretty much anyone can have in their collection without taking up much room. And then for another size comparison, here is the Artic Figures male Tyrannosaurus Rex next to the Graboid here. Now, I don't have very many figures that I feel like would be good stand-ins when it comes to a comparison with a Graboid, because I don't really have any other Graboid figures. I have a few magnets and stuff, but that's really about it. So nothing that I can think of off the top of my head when it comes to a comparison to show you the size, but I felt like an Artic Figures comparison would be a pretty fun one. And then for a few random comparisons, we have a Mattel Velociraptor and a Mattel Dilophosaurus here next to our Graboid. Hopefully you may have at least one of these figures, but for one final comparison, we've got the return of the randoms when it comes to comparisons, because these are the three that I kind of lean toward when I can't really think of anything else to size comparison with, so I figured we'd bring in the Safari LTDU Tyrannus, the Schleich Diabloceratops, and the Dimetrodon from Collect Day to help hopefully give you an idea of the size if you maybe have at least one of these figures here. So as I said a little bit earlier in the review, this Graboid from Artic Figures is a straight up dream come true. If there's one thing that the world has been lacking for a very long time, it is Tremors figures, and thankfully we have incredible sculptors and incredible artists like Artic Figures who step up to give us the figures that we all want but just never seem to get. And this, again, Graboid is as perfect as it honestly can get. He has sculpted it out to perfection, and that's one thing that Artic Figures, I can say at this point, you know, with having quite a few of his figures in my collection, I can say with complete confidence that he is phenomenal when it comes to capturing screen accuracy. And you can really tell that he pays attention, he does his homework, and he makes sure to capture every ounce of detail on his models that you would see when they appear on screen. And that is exactly the case yet again for this Graboid, because it looks literally like he just grabbed a Graboid straight out of the film and brought it here to us in figure form. And again, sculpt and detail wise, it looks exactly like it. It is super highly detailed and is extremely vibrant when it comes to the quality of his print and the detail on the print. It is just a beautiful, beautiful sculpt. And on top of that, the paintwork that he has given it is incredible as well. It looks extremely lifelike. I feel like Artic Figures doesn't get enough credit for how good his paint applications are on top of his incredible sculpts. And this again shows you just how good his paint apps are, because this Graboid, like I said, looks exactly as it looks in the film, and he has painted it up in a very, very realistic and lifelike way. And if the Graboid itself wasn't cool enough for you, you also have the tentacles for your Graboid, which are incredible. And yet again, just like with the Graboid itself, it looks exactly like it does in the film. He has, again, sculpted it out to perfection with every ounce of detail you would like to see, as well as painted it with perfection. Again, with variation of color, as well as a nice gloss coat. The gloss coat is also included on the head and on the inside of the mouth of the Graboid to make sure that area stands out as well. And if all of that wasn't cool enough, you also have the construction worker who you can place inside the mouth and again create an incredible diorama with your Graboid. And I love the fact that you can kind of switch them and trade them in and out of the mouth with the magnet. The magnet was a great idea on his part, and it works so good when it comes to applying those areas. Like when I look back to older NECA figures and stuff, and like you have to try to get like the tongue of something inside the mouth in like a certain ridged area, it's such a pain in the butt. But Artic Figures using magnets here to kind of swap your pieces in and out is the perfect way to go, and again, it works incredibly well. So everything here as a whole is definitely a dream come true for me, because I have wanted a good Graboid figure for years, and I now finally have it thanks to Artic Figures. So if you are interested in grabbing one of these for yourself, I believe he actually has a few still for sale on his Etsy shop, so I will include a link in the description to where you can head on over there right now, grab yourself an incredible Graboid figure for yourself. So make sure you check that link in the description. Go grab these before they sell out, because that's something that happens very quickly and very often when it comes to Artic Figures, so you don't want to sit on it and wait. You really want to get a hold of it right away. So make sure you check that link, go grab your amazing Graboid from Artic Figures, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.